Hey guys, I hope you're having a good day. I want to let you know how things were going since it's been a bit over 7 months since my last major update. Sorry about that. I did say things would be different now and I'd be more transparent. So, again, I am sorry for being later on this update than I would like. I'll try to explain some of the reasoning for that and also maybe why I might seem a little bit different acting in this than I was in the last update later in the video. Still, I'm here trying to be honest with you all now, so I want to make the most of it. Today, I'm going to go over the history of everything that's happened to me again, for anyone new catching this for the first time. And then I'm going to go into what has happened since I started streaming, since the last update, and what has happened recently up to the present day. So let's just get right to it. The quick backstory for those who don't know what I've been dealing with or just need a refresher. I found myself lagging and becoming more tired than I expected after the first summit in late 2015, so I went to the doctor. I was diagnosed with low testosterone. This, or maybe what is called chronic fatigue, has been very difficult to treat. Part of the issue is because I get so tired when searching for solutions or even moving around or talking to someone. Part of the issue with treating it is that there's a lot of brain fog that kept me from approaching the healing process clearly and logically. Another part is I didn't have my standard solution to a lot of problems, which was running. And another part is just that it seems like it's a multifaceted problem to solve. But continuing on trying to solve it, I tried typical medical routes, but those did not work long term and had some nasty side effects. So I began looking at diet, which helped some, but really didn't solve anything meaningfully. By this point, it's 2 years after I was diagnosed, and I have broken the trust of the community by saying I was sure I'd be better and was wrong repeatedly. And, not everyone in the community, but many people. So I ended up becoming kind of frantic and looking for more unorthodox strategies. One person I found in late 2017 helped me and gradually got me to the point where I could stream after a year and a half of working with him. My energy slowly improved in that time, the brain fog cleared somewhat, and I had a decent mood relatively often. You can see my progress over time if you watch some of the interviews in that time period. And for a full update on my health at the time of streaming, I have a video about that as well on this channel. But you don't need to watch it or worry about that if you don't want to, because I'm going to compare how my symptoms were that day that I listed out and how my experience was then to what I'm feeling now, these days. And just before that, I'd like to add that it's thanks to the generous Twitch supporters that I found another person who is getting me better results faster after a couple months of streaming. I found them after a couple months of streaming, since I can afford it now. So thanks again for that, and I'll talk more about that after the symptom comparison. So let's get into that. First, let's talk about the April symptoms that weren't perfect. 1, it took about an hour and a half to fall asleep and was somewhat restful. 2, there was some leg tightness, and when I ran, it would be exaggerated and would often stay for a few days. 3, I was way too skinny. People were worried I was starving myself or something worse was going on. 4, my energy had improved to where I could play Melee for about an hour and a half if I didn't try that hard. And conversations themselves were still mildly difficult. 5, I felt a wide range of emotions, but I still tended to feel negative ones more strongly than positive ones. 6, I struggled to adapt in Melee, but I could remember how solo practice without stream went if I wanted to take notes on it. 7, my eyes had okay perception to the point where I could read for a couple hours before they tired. 8, and final point, I felt more motivated about Melee and streaming, and I was happy and excited about it, but of course I didn't fully experience those feelings. So those are the 8, and overall I felt like I was becoming more of myself, but I still had a lot of self to reclaim. So, what's different now? What's different today? Let's kind of go point by point once again. So for sleep, 1, it takes anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half to fall asleep, but it's usually within the 30 to 60 minute range, and is closer to 30 to 45 if I can minimize more stress and prepare for sleep better. That's pretty close to normal for me for the average night, but it's still not where it needs to be overall, and it shouldn't be an hour and a half any night, obviously. For example, 2, the leg tightness is gone, and now normal soreness is somewhat exaggerated when I do run, but it doesn't stick around for a week or 2 or whatever like it used to. 3, I'm not too skinny and not too fat now. I mean, maybe we have our own view on that, but I'm more in the middle now. And I also feel like I have reasonable control over my weight, whereas I always didn't feel like I did before. 4, my energy lets me stream and be expressive and practice and play serious Melee for a few hours without serious effects between days. On days where I play people in real life, I do feel more tired the rest of the day, though. And, I feel like I can, so I've said it already, but I just want to kind of reiterate, I can, try really hard while playing Melee now, and I can at least go for as long as I could before, which is, pretty significant improvement. But yeah, I'm still not playing like I need to be, and I'll talk more about that at a later bullet point. 5, emotionally, I'm much closer to a healthy balance of feelings. I still can be caught up in negativity sometimes, but I have more tools and awareness to handle it, and I have a little more on that after this. 6, my brain fog has cleared some, and while my Melee adaptation isn't anything impressive right now, it is clearly better. I retain things I read and hear about multiple people well now, and I no longer have major forgetfulness concerns. But I don't analyze matches or read harder nonfiction books because I know that's where I am still limited. 7, my eyes have increased durability and can handle similar amounts of reading as before, but they focus better during that period. They also handle computer screens better. And 8, I do feel very motivated about Melee, likely more than before, but less so about streaming if that isn't obvious. That's only because I've been pushing for my health so much. So on most points, on most of the things I was struggle with before, if not all of them, I'm looking over it again, it's pretty much all of them, that is an across-the-board improvement. So overall, I have an increasing sense of 1 foot in normalcy and 1 foot out. I feel like I can't feel normal usually, but I have some moments once in a while where I do, and more symptoms are still being tackled, and so I definitely feel like I'm on the right track. So, if you're here for the main symptom update, there you go. That's kind of the quick and dirty of everything. So it's clearly not all better, but it is a decent amount better, which is really nice. But for the rest of you, or if you want to hear some more about how things are going and a little bit of what I've been doing and what's ahead, let's talk about what I've done since I've started streaming and kind of what I feel now. So initially when I started streaming, I was focused on the stream entirely. There were a lot of issues nearly every day for a month or two, technical issues or otherwise, and I wanted to be entertaining as well. I did an alright job of that, but I felt after a while that I needed to go back to focusing on my health. I neglected the stream in terms of energy and content as a result. I was spending all of my time thinking about how to improve the stream and not about why I was doing it. So I hope you can forgive me for the serious lapse in quality in terms of how I acted and how I act and in terms of the content of the stream. I just felt it was most important to apply as much effort as I could towards my health, so it didn't seem like I was maybe being disingenuous with the stream or something. Anyway, once I began looking, I used the funds that you guys had given me to pay someone totally different to help me. This person is pretty special because we started attacking this disease very holistically in terms of various physical and mental and emotional levels. I was assured early on that things would move quickly and I'd be healthy fast, but I am glad I restrained myself from telling you all that, as you can see. It turns out that there are many difficult things that weren't expected initially that we had to work through. Sessions were tough either immediately during them or in terms of how I might feel afterward. So the day of, day after, often few days, even several days afterward. I've pushed myself very hard on many levels and often can feel more tired from it than I did when I wasn't streaming. So, if it matters, I'm pushing myself pretty hard, and I guess you have to take my word for it unless you want to see me do a video after I'm wiped out or something. But anyway, that doesn't mean it's not working, because the days where I finally adjust to what we did in a previous session can sometimes feel like a real step forward. This has been especially true for the past month, where we have cleared out many difficult things, and I have been even more likely to see growth. And an example of something, a symptom I haven't talked about before that people have mentioned is people said my voice was kind of higher than it used to be, but in the last month, one of the things that people said has changed is my voice has deepened again. I haven't checked that. You're welcome to go back, but no one has disputed it so far anyway, so that's nice. Um, but yeah, so overall, seems like, especially recently, things have picked up more, which is why I really wanted to get this video out. What does this mean going forward? Does it mean I'll compete in 2020? Maybe even Genesis? Of course, I'd absolutely love Genesis, and it is a possible goal. But does that guarantee anything? Of course not. But I at least think that there is some measure of possibility, whatever that means to me or you. But yeah, I will say that overall 2020 seems more likely than not to me now, at least. I feel, again, the recent progress does feel good. And then to kind of explain kind of the optimism and pessimism of like, well, maybe, unsure. I do want to kind of give you guys an example, and this is another reason I wanted to get this video out. I want to tell you about something I tried last week that I was instructed to do last week. I was told to try to run one day, wait a day, and then run again. So run in 2 days and run again. It was designed to help me build confidence and push myself. The result was kind of mixed. The first day I had a wonderful run, which felt very good, and I felt fairly good after it, despite some extra fatigue that day. This has never happened once or anything close to it since I've had this health issue. So that was really awesome, and I was pretty excited about it. However, the second day's run was shorter and not that enjoyable. I felt wiped out from it that day and for many days since then. This is not very close to how I handle things when I'm normal, when I could bounce back from runs the same day or the next day at worst. Even if I hadn't been running and I was healthy, it would only take a day's rest to become fine again. For those who say that this is about getting older, I think this is far too severe to suggest a few years of aging, plus I am still fairly young. But whatever you want to believe about that, the people I'm working with and I feel like it was a good experience because it helped me confront something I tried to avoid for a very long time. This is something that took a lot for me to say last week, but I feel it's important to tell you now. And this is not the easiest thing to do, but I hate showing weakness, and I hate admitting that I can't do something. And I'm not undervaluing the word hate there in this in a way. When I finally started explaining it and opening up, the other person saw I was shrinking and cowering and feeling very small to the point where I would often seemingly move my arms around myself as if to protect myself. But of course, there was no danger. The person was supportive and everything like that. It was just a very difficult thing to talk about. And it is kind of a weakness of mine that I need to make peace with. I've made some progress towards healing it, but even now it's hard to say to you guys. And that's probably part of the reason I am not the best about getting the updates out as well, if I'm being honest. I'm worried I'll be judged about it. This feeling comes up in a certain way when I stream and have to show my unhealthy self. When I answer, when are you going to a tournament? When will you make an update? And also when I see people in real life and I know I can't hide it, so I try to avoid them, and so on. All of this, again, to avoid showing weakness. Because of this and what I said before, it's no surprise to me that my stream is shrank to what it is. In some ways, kind of keeping attention off of me keeps as much of this from being seen. So, yeah, but that said, that's why you supporters mean so much to me. Many of you believe in me despite my weaknesses and showing them day after day, and despite how much I really want to withdraw when communicated indirectly a lot of the time. Without you and your love and support, I couldn't keep pushing to get better either. So it's with a full heart. I'd like to say that I'm sincerely thankful to those who have continued watching and subbing and believing in me. I literally couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. Thank you, guys. With that said, I think that's about it for me now. If you watched the whole video, thanks for taking the time to do so and for being you. I am making progress because people like you care and are willing to give me a shot, and I'm going to keep pushing myself to get as well as I can as soon as I can so we can all meet up and I can thank you in person, and also I can get back on that great, beautiful Melee stage again. I'll keep going and doing my best to be the best person I can be, which includes being transparent with you all. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day, everyone. Till next time.